The biggest game mode in Trackmania is weekly shorts, bringing in 100,000 players every week. And for the past couple of days, I have foolishly been doing everything I can to try to win it, something that has cost me a lot of sanity. But today I want to tell you the story of how it all went and the incredible spectacle that unfolded. If you aren't familiar, the way it works is that every week, 5 new tracks are chosen by the developers as that week's set of weekly short maps. During the competition, the leaderboard is secret. You don't get to see what times other people have, nor their ghosts to see what lines they drove. Then at the end of the week, all the times and ghosts are revealed, and you get to see all the cool things that people came up with. After my initial discovery of the maps, I realized that this set of tracks has so many small tricks that you could use to gain time, that it would be a really good week for me to challenge for the win. And hopefully when the video is posted, I will have a good result. I basically did as good as I can with the time I had. So let's get into it. Let's go through it day by day, starting with the very release of the maps. Map 1, the wide track, is called Future Village, and this one has a lot of speed, a wall ride, and some tricky transitions where you gotta preserve perfect speed. But my first impression was that this track was rather boring. There just wasn't that much going on, and hunting this for 1 week, as you can imagine, was probably going to be a battle down to the last millionth of a second. In my discovery, I only spent about 10 minutes on it before advancing to map 2, the slow track, Magic Mountains. I could immediately tell that this was more my style as it just had more going on. It had some drifts, it had a risky finish I noticed, and then it didn't take me long to notice, you could also shortcut. There's a jump from checkpoint 1 down to checkpoint 2 that looked awfully possible. So here initially I ended up spending quite a bit of time, but I also wanted to come back to hunt the map more later. The puzzle track for this week was Oldtown paths, and if you look at it from above you can see there are a lot of different options here. There are checkpoints on either side, but they're linked, meaning you can go left or right as you please. You can even go up the middle, though that path looked obviously slower. On this map, it didn't take me long to notice that the path out to the right seemed to be a lot faster than the others, but there was then some min-maxing on how you land on different houses in the hills and jumping through a gap to preserve the most amount of speed, which was kind of interesting to figure out. So I actually ended up spending a lot of time on this map in Discovery, and eventually this happened. Super early airbreak, just do it. Just do it, bro. Trust it. Just do it. Oh. And that has... What is that landing? That's diabolical. After just 20 minutes of playing, I had accidentally discovered a really good strategy at the ending of 03. Just landing with a massive nose down that propelled the car forwards and gave me a massive PB and even world record to start me off. With that, I felt comfortable to check out map 4 and map 5 to see what they had to offer. Map 4 is called After the Crash, and it just starts off with reactors and then more reactor boosters. And coming off of doing the world record on Deep Dip, this did seem like it was something that could be my style, trying to get zoops, or hover boost if you will, where the car just gains a lot of speed as it's about to land, and you can manipulate that to fly over the rocks to get speed boosts. And it also has a bit of a small shortcut. The last track in the map pack is Small Dungeon. This one has gorgeous scenery, you're inside this cave and all of a sudden, there's a pyramid. But it's not an Egyptian pyramid, so could have been better. But if we look at the actual racing, it is really cool. You're driving next to a lot of spikes, jumping across a broken bridge for a shortcut, and it also has a reactor boost trick at the ending, which I spent a very long time trying to figure out, though it did pay its dividends. With that, my first discovery of the map pack was complete. Overall, I thought it was a solid set. I really enjoyed some of the maps, especially map 2 and map 5, with the shortcuts, as you could probably tell, and it was kind of hard to figure out where I wanted to start grinding, but I was already feeling fresh on map 5, so that's where I started grinding. I managed to get the world record after the discovery with a 13.981, but I kept hunting it that same night to see really how far I could push it. A little bit later, I'm jumping even closer to the spikes. I'm going for a more aggressive line towards the reactor flight. It still hits the sand a bit, but it's now a 13.921, 600th faster. I do still feel like I can improve though, so I try to go even closer to the walls, get a better jump across the bridge, drop down still aggressively, keep a lot of speed, get 4th gear before the water bounce, flying directly to the dragon now, and it's a 13 900 all on the same day. And I'm feeling like this is a very strong mark because I know at this point I have the world record by about a tenth of a second. But I also want to keep going because at this point I am a little bit passionate. Not obsessed, just passionate. And I do continue a run which has a slower start than my personal best. But I do get a more direct flight to the finish line. You can see it's diagonal, and crossing the finish line on the right side is a little bit shorter in distance. So I get a new PB by 0.02 of a second. I return to the map the next day, and with a fresh mind, I start getting some new ideas about how to drive it fast. You see, after you jump across the bridge, there's this drop down where the car is very close to gearing up. It's always better to drive in a higher gear if you can, but in Trackmania, it's very bad to gear up exactly as the car drops down, because then what happens is that the car will effectively eat the gear as it lands and lose a bunch of speed. What I realized though is that if you land in a certain way when you jump across the bridge gap, with the back wheel driving down the very tiny ramp that's on the edge of the bridge, it is possible to get a speed advantage of about 2 extra speed at the checkpoint. And with that and a wider line, you can actually shift gear before the drop down entirely and now drive the entire end section with 4th gear. I grinded the entire day, and after a couple of hours, results were finally coming in. Wow. Okay, my strategy works. Sure. Oh. Wow, okay, that is very strong. It took me a lot of effort, but finally I had gotten a really good run on map 5, a 13.815, and I could finally move on to other tracks. Or so I thought. Because after all of that grinding, Giuliano plays the track on stream and just goes ahead and discovers this strategy.
That the optimal line of the spikes? I'm pretty sure that's... I am pretty sure that's, and I accidentally figured it out, which is pretty funny. Go! Attack! World record! There we go!
And then just beats my world record with ease. That was like 6 hours of theory crafting about gearing and advanced stuff. Just all in the bin. Just all in the dumpster. But still, guys, I really wanted this record, so I was committed to putting in a lot of hours. Basically, the amount of hours it would take to get the run that jumped between the spikes and got the reactor flight, even if just 100th faster than Giuliano. After over a day of trying to beat Giuliano, I actually managed to tie my personal best with the new strategy. But before I could beat it, I discovered something groundbreaking. I can't even tell you how this started, but I respawned a lot on the second checkpoint and just tried different drop-down lines, and I noticed that there is an area where you can land a little bit more to the left, but there's seemingly no space. However, if you land at the exact right angle towards the red crystal, there's just a gap, exactly as wide as the car itself, where you can thread the needle and preserve about 220 speed. And so I had to check this out in more detail. What I did is I created an exact replica of the track as a practice map with a couple of the spikes removed, so it became a lot easier to land down there. And then I just drove a run to the finish line and looked at the no respawn timer. And I could hardly believe my eyes. A 1362 no respawn timer if you did the strategy. I did make it significantly easier by removing like 5 spikes. And in the replay analysis, you can really see just how precise it would be. Like this run, the 1362, would crash like 5 spikes. I thought if I can pull this off, I might be the only player in the world that has this strategy. I'm going for that. I'm sorry, but I'm going for that. Over time, I started feeling a lot more comfortable with it. I could kind of discern what runs would work, which ones wouldn't, what inputs I would need to do to make the car survive the gap and get a chance at the reactor. But let me tell you, the reactor flight is super difficult if you do this. It comes at you so fast that you almost have no time to react and set it up. But eventually, with a lot of grinding, I finally got this run. Oh. Add release to get it. A 13.741. Just a couple hundreds faster than Giuliano, and with a strategy that no one in the world knew except for me. I knew there was a lot of potential left in the map, and I feared that if someone else finds it, they would beat me with a better time. So despite succeeding, I still kept going and trying to improve the record further. No, bro, this was perfect. 235 speed of the gap, bro. Six, 6, 6. Okay, guys. For now, I'm gonna keep this time. But someone might find the strategy. That was crazy though. This run was awesome. A 13.666 on a sort of evil aesthetic map, both having the unlucky number and the devil's number. It just felt right. Felt like it belonged. It should be that way. However, I still felt I had more pace left. Having had that one fail that went full speed through the gap and was about 1/10 faster than this, I decided to keep going, try to get as perfect of a run as I could because I still could improve. And then I got a run I was finally really pleased with. Yo, what? I was not expecting to PB on this again. I was just playing it for fun because I thought if I keep this map, there's a high chance I win. And now I PV'd on it again. That's actually crazy. This landing down here is crazy. How close I went to everything. Wow. With my world record on map 5, I was instantly top 5 in the world. And if I got another world record, I would almost be guaranteed first place. With that in mind, I was going to put my effort towards a map I thought I could beat the world record on. And map 2 with the big shortcut immediately stood out to me. So that's where I put my efforts next. When I came back to Magic Mountain, first time after the discovery, I still wasn't really sure what strategies players were using. Initially, I was looking at doing what I did in my discovery, but getting an even better shortcut landing one gap further to the right. And it did look possible at first, but I typically check a lot of these things in practice maps to determine whether they're even worth pursuing or not. And what I noticed is that even when placing additional blocks to aid the landing, it was still going to be a lot slower than some of the clips I'd seen circulating from a different shortcut. So there was no point continuing with the straight drop-down strategy. What players were doing was going out to the left with a wide drift, bouncing on a grass hill while collecting the checkpoint, and then water bouncing straight to the finish, which was at least a tenth, if not 2/10 faster. There was also a third idea, which was that there's a gap in the fence exactly where the checkpoint line is. And so I was experimenting with what kind of pace would you get if you squeeze through that gap and water bounce as you get the checkpoint. If it were possible, you could get a time of about 14.1 with this strategy, so 3/10 faster than the grass hill bounce. But to my knowledge, that gap is a bit too tight, you cannot squeeze the car through. I at least couldn't make it work, so I abandoned that idea as well. It really seemed like the drift path was the way to go, so now it was a matter of optimizing it to perfection. A 14.495. This placed me 14th in the world. I didn't at this point know what the world records were, of course. I'd only seen a clip of a 14.5 circulating the first day, so I'd already beaten that mark, and from this point on, I was on my own. Almost an hour later, I finally got my next personal best, and this one was a very small improvement, but though the improvement was small, I still ended up gaining 3 or 4 leaderboard places, which told me people are going to be very close in the rankings here. Later in the day, I improved down to a 14.45, and this was rank 6 in the world, and now I was kind of not sure where to really improve anymore. Like, this run had everything that I wanted. It had the action key water bounce, it had a precise drift, and still 5 people in the world had driven faster. So I just had to figure out how. Ooh. After getting up to top 3 in the world on the leaderboard, I noticed one time save that I'd completely missed on the map, which is that after the first drift, there is a really important strategy in the downhill where you can air brake and just steer instead of tapping brake to start the drift. Not only does this preserve more speed, but the slight air time that a couple of the wheels get angle the car for you. You sort of get rotation for free, and my first time getting this was a massive blue split, but unfortunately I crashed the bridge and missed the finish. With that discovery, it didn't take me long before I finally got a banger run on the track. Normally you would be happy with a world record, but my reaction here was a bit of disgust as I thought I might have lost a lot of speed on the water bounce landing by full steering instead of 80%, but I don't think I had a choice in hindsight as the car might have missed the finish, and so made the most of the situation, and it was rank 1 in the world. Who could complain? I think my end was bad, guys. I think my end was bad. I'm not sure yet. I gotta see how much I steered. I was trying to do 90. Oh no, honestly, that looks pretty good. I couldn't have steered less, I think. Not long after driving that record, I got a message on Discord from the player that I beat, Venus, asking what did I cook. And Venus had been grinding this map for a long time, and it didn't take them long to actually just beat the record right back, saying, okay, never mind, I'm too good. And when I saw this the next day, I got right back to grinding, and I was thinking there's a chance Venus has a 3.6 something, maybe a 3.5, but the run that I'm about to show you was a beauty. Yes, bro. Let's go. That new water shot is crazy, and the wide line worked and everything. Hell yes. I don't think that's getting beaten. Beautiful. This record might not seem that fast at first, but I'd made a crucial discovery here that made me gain a lot of time. In the first drift, I go significantly wider than my ghost, and on the split, I'm 400ths behind, so how could this possibly be good? Well, the speed setup in combination with the air brake trick that I talked about gives me a lot of speed and a better angle towards the finish. And so though I'm still behind as we're going towards the jump across the bridge, I just have so much better speed and angle that I can water bounce very precisely towards the finish. In addition to that, I also discovered a detail where if you hold brake in the water, the car sinks more than it jumps up, which leads it to go at a straighter path towards the finish. And I was not expecting to see a 0.33 as I crossed the line, so very, very happy with that. With a good record on map 5 and map 2, I now sort of had my hands free to do other tracks. And the next map I set my sights on was map number 3. Oldtown paths. It didn't take me long before I was able to beat my discovery time, and I quickly got many runs that were in the 14.6 high range. The reason was that the start in my 14.7 from discovery was pretty slow, and I noticed some other small details that really make you fast on this map as well. It's important to get a early air brake as you leave the first house, and then on the middle jump you gotta go as close to the roof plank as you can, and also the nose down, the higher it is the better. Like if you're almost standing vertically, that's perfect, and that is very hard to control for. With all these factors, you're balancing on the nose, you're trying to aim past the barrels, just gradually shaving off a little bit more time, before eventually I got a massive improvement. We take those. That was huge, but a really bad start, so the only thing to improve now is my start, really. Sorry guys, just kidding. You don't get massive improvements on this map, and if you're about to, you might just choke them. I kind of don't want to show you this next clip, but it's part of the story. This is honestly one of the worst chokes I've ever had, and I would not be surprised if this was a world record choke. Nine. I mean, who crashes the barrel, the very last barrel, with a -4 checkpoint on a map where you're not supposed to gain a lot of time? The final time after, you know, perfecting the end would be a 14:58. Like, what is that? What is that? And it is especially fast what you're about to see next, because a couple hours later, I did get the world record with a significantly slower time. Oh, we are cooking this weekly shorts. Holy. Let's go, dude. I might actually win again. A 14:61. With this, I now held 3 world records at the same time in weekly shorts, but I still felt like, you know, that should have been the 14:58 from a few hours before. But it wasn't meant to be, and so, though I got that run a couple hours later, it has now been beaten by iCoco. And as it stands, I currently have 110,000 points. Second place has 51,000. But here's the kicker. I can't play for the next 3 days. I'm taking a flight in about 2 hours, so now let's see if it was enough or not.
Oh, I'm top 300. Wait, Wirtual drove a 0.5 on map 5. Yo, what? Okay, that's crazy. That's insane. That is a very nice time.
Wait, did I just see that right? Did I see a 0.5? Huh? What is he doing?
Alright, and virtual record on this. Oh god, was there a path? Wait, was there a path through the things in the middle, here on the inside now? Oh my god! Okay, did virtual win weekly shorts? He did. In dominating fashion.
Did he find another line? Why is he fast? Wirtual guy.
There's no way he fits through this, bro. There is no way. How do you even fit through that? What the hell is this? Okay, map 2, Magic Mountains. Virtual with the water for 0.33. 0.33 is also pretty fast, I think. A wide rift into... Ooh, what a setup. Wow. A beautiful jump. Perfectly over at 80% water bounce. And that's first.
Oh, it's the cut. Okay, so this map got cut really crazily as well. So that's 2 for 2 cuts. Watch this. And... bloop. Wicked bounce finish. Yup.
Alright, I'm finally back home after a long weekend, and the first thing I did when I got home was check the leaderboards. And guess what? We've done it! We got our 3rd weekly shorts win with 105,000 points and 2 world records standing. I haven't yet seen the records from everyone, I only know the scores, so that's what we're gonna do now, reacting to everyone's runs and seeing what we found, what we missed, and how we managed to beat them on the other maps. Let's go. Alright, so here we are in-game. These are my final placements. 94, 1, 2, 9, and 1. Like I said, map 1, I realized the chances of me getting a good time were very slim, because it's just so hard to get this lucky bounce for a 62. And there's not really much to gain on the start. We have a world record from Barcha, as there's someone driving with the Geometry Dash Cube. That's hilarious. But yeah, here, basically same run up to the bounce, but they just get a really fast flight. There's one player far to the right. Was that Silence? Never understood how they keep so much speed and still, you know, fly so low. That was not something I was able to do. So 94th on map 1, but I didn't put too much time into it. Let's check out map 2. 14.332. I felt it when I drove this time that it was strong, and it has stood in first place ever since. 300s faster than second place. Let's take a look at the comparison now to everyone. See where we gained. I'm behind on the start. And my wide line, I'm the only person doing it. But is it true? Yeah, I do have more speed. And look how long this part is. Like, you don't think about it when you're seeing these complex turns, but the speed difference still carries through this entire part. And here as well, it's essentially a straight line to the finish, but I'm just faster. So that was a nice find. Like, it's a small detail, but it just feels so counterintuitive to go all the way out here instead of just staying precise. So I'm very happy about this find. Let's go to the next map. I did what I thought was a really good time, but wow, a 5.85 by Coco is the winning run on this map. Let's see how he did it. I mean, it was my best copium timer was about that pace. No. I lost to the Among Us car skin, bro. Nah, I got mogged. He's beating me. I can't even see how good of that nosedive that he got is, but yeah, I got smurfed on. I'm fighting for hours trying to get a good time here, and I lose to Among Us. That is a very nice line, though. And going out to the... you guys are not going to be taking me seriously here, but going out to the right to enter the grass later with a bit more speed is smart. Very, very smart. So impressive run there by Mogus. Let's go to map 4. After the crash, 9th here. 0.3 by the guys. Okay, let's take a look. Corny, Twist, and Piasak. Corny with the nose down. I saw Giuliano have an attempt with this. I did not manage to get it myself in a good run. But Piasak did something completely different. So let's take a look at his run. I think it is the one that we saw in a clip earlier in the week too. Yeah, so hitting the rock and getting a boost here gains you another hover boost there, but Corny has full grip, so faster. And Twist, what did he do? He's not doing... Oh, is he doing the skip? The reset skip? Oh, you know, I looked at not this variant of it, but some variant of it. This looks really nice. That might be the best strategy, actually. Because the start was kind of slow. But yeah, it's so precise. You're flying just next to the reset and still getting the checkpoint. And then weaving very nice solutions here. I did not get any of those, so impressive. And then map 5, guys. I hope this will be the case. I am the only player in the world that found this shortcut on the map, so when I drove it, I thought to myself, like, man, that is... It's really counterintuitive to spot that you want to jump in this gap here and thread the needle. And yeah, ended up being true. No one else found it. I know Voltzy did his personal best like 5 minutes before the map closed with the Giuliano line. I don't think anyone did the upper gear line that I was having at the start of the week, but still really, really fun to have found something and executed it, and it's the only player in the leaderboard. So this was a really fun week of weekly shorts. I really enjoyed grinding it. I'm happy it all paid off as well. So thank you all for watching this video. Let me know if you want to see more weekly shorts grinding. Of course, we will be diving into week 42 and all the other weeks and trying to stay consistent from here on out. But if you want to see me grind more, let me know. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody. Victorious once again. Well, when are they going to stop him? Bonk up, deep slip, deep dip. Wait, it's too much. It's too much. You don't need to include any of that, but...